Hello and welcome back to Meals with Misty, a show where I invite local chefs, restaurateurs, and like today, entrepreneurs to come and cook with me. Today will be a little bit different because I will actually be showing my guests how to cook one of my favorite meals. But before all of that, I want to introduce you all to Wendy Claassen Rios. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Thanks for being here. Wendy is a local fitness expert. She does fitness training here in Kansas City, Overland Park.
Yes.
And she also is an entrepreneur. She just started her business last year, Lali Florals. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm actually very excited to be able to learn how to cook some of your favorite, meals, or I guess your favorite meal. I actually started my journey with entrepreneurship when I became a personal trainer. Ever since 2020, I've actually owned my own personal training business. And then recently, actually because of my wedding, I actually got into the whole world of flowers. I've also helped one of my good friends and mentors in a lot of her floral projects. And from there, just fell in love with it. And so right now my niche is weddings here in the Kansas City metro area. Nice. I started that in July of last year, and it's just exploded since then, which awesome. I'm very thankful for. It's fantastic because I love being able to meet people and interact with people, and I love art and beauty, and so I just kind of fuse it together. Yeah, good. And it works actually very well with my schedule as a personal trainer because weekends is usually when the wedding time is the most popular, and so then I usually will train my clients during the week. So it's actually been a really good fusion of both. So I'm excited to see where it will continue to go and grow. But and then the name exciting. Lali, I really liked it because it's the Nahuatl word for earth. So it literally translates into earth florals.
Love that. Okay, well, awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but I want to get a little down and dirty right now. So the first step to making this meal, and what we're making today, is stuffed chile poblano, or aka chile rellenos.
Delish.
And they're one of my favorite. You can really play with them, put whatever you'd like. Today we're going to be putting a beef chorizo on it.
Nice.
But you can use chicken, ground beef, steak, or just cheese. You can also fill it with spinach or veggies if that's your thing. But the biggest and most important step that a lot of people don't know is you have to fry the chili first. So you fry it in a hot pan, no oil, just char it. Okay. And then you're gonna let it sweat in a plastic bag or a container.
And usually, how long do you fry it for? Do you just kind of check and make sure that it doesn't burn? Or?
So I'm gonna show you the color. You really want it to be black, charred. Gotcha. So it's okay for it to burn because that makes the peel come out really easily. So that's the next step. We now have to peel it. You can use your hands, or you can use a knife kind of like this and just kind of scrape it off. Why we do this, and I'll let you give it a shot, is because these little peels can be a little hard to chew. You can eat the pepper with it, but this is just how I was taught. Yeah. And actually I believe the first person who ever teach me this was my tia, but I really learned to perfect it at a Mexican restaurant I used to work at.
Awesome. And how long do you usually let it sweat?
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay.
I
Nice.
usually will cook my meat or prepare other things while we just let it sit in the plastic bag. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you get most of that outer shell off is good. We have two here that are already done, so you can kind of see the example. Then we're gonna cut it in half and we'll devein it. So that's kind of what they're gonna be looking like.
And then from here, you said I cut it in half?
Yes.
Okay. So cut
just
it through.
Like that.
Perfect. And then usually, what's the best technique to be able to devein it?
So this is kind of where you can use your fingers, you can use whatever, but I usually, if you can see here, it's gonna have a pit. I'll usually cut that pit.
Okay.
And then that should just pop right off. And then with the rest of these seeds, you can kind of use your hands. You can also take it to the kitchen sink. You can rinse it off. These don't really matter. They'll give it a little bit more of a kick, but usually these peppers are not spicy anyway, so you kind of try and get rid of as much as you can. And so at the end, that's what they're gonna look like.
Perfect.
Okay, so now that we're done with that, we need to fix up the coating for what's gonna go around it, and then we will refry it again.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
And what is the coating? Is the coating mostly for like texture, flavor? Is that just how you classically make chiles rellenos?
It's just the classic way. You actually don't even have to do this coating on it. It just gives it a little bit more of a texture, and it gives it more of a fullness rather than you're just eating a pepper. It'll give you something a little more. So
that makes sense.
We have this thing here, and the first step is we're going to start with the egg whites.
Okay, I'll pass you those.
Thank you.
Do I put them in slowly or
no,
just all at once? Okay.
Put it in there. And then while I'm mixing this up here, I'm gonna have you mix this flour. Oh, that's a little going everywhere.
There you go.
I'm gonna have you mix this flour. It's whole wheat flour, but you can use any kind, and you'll mix it with this.
Okay. And I'll pass that.
There you go.
Yep. Awesome.
So you were telling us about you started with your flower business after your wedding.
Yes.
Okay. So what made you get into that, and what made you say I'm going to continue to do personal training as well? Because you do both now, right?
I do.
How long have you said you've been doing personal training for 5 years or more?
No, actually more. So I actually got certified as a personal trainer, went through a certification course and a 6-month training program at a Wellspring School of Allied Health, and then got certified as a personal trainer through NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I've been a trainer since 2014. Okay. I used to work at a bigger gym, and then when COVID happened, I started training a lot of my clients virtually. Yeah. And then I realized that I actually was able to charge them less and make more. And so I was really intrigued in the concept of potentially having my own business. And then it just so happened that I was able to find a great place where I could rent out the gym space and then just see my clients in that gym space I rented out instead of having it be commission-based. So yeah, so that's been my journey with personal training in my own business since 2020. Okay. And then for our wedding, the way that I got into flowers, actually, very first introduction. So actually Jamie from the Floral Frontier, absolutely amazing artist. She's the daughter of one of my clients, and she needed some help for her sister's wedding.
Sorry, we're folding.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not going to beat this in, we're gonna fold it in.
Gotcha.
Like this. You want to do the egg whites until they're stiff, and then we're just folding now.
So if I were to mix it very fast, does that completely just destroy the...
It'll get rid of the stiffness that it's called stiff peak.
Stiff peak, okay.
Okay, so we fold that in, and what we'll do is we're gonna dip our peppers into that, and then we're gonna take it over here to fry it. Now, again, it's up to you if you want to fry it in butter, oil, or if you would rather just skip this whole part and just bake it. But this really just gives it the texture and the,
it tastes so good with it too.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And you get that little protein from the egg whites.
Yes.
Let's go.
That's
nutrition
always good.
right here for your little post-workout meal.
Yes, for sure. And healthy.
And very healthy, yes. Actually, that's one thing. Honestly, Mexican food has so many great vegetables and good, proteins and fats. It's a very good, complete meal.
So we're gonna do this,
okay,
and coat it up like that, and then set it over here.
I am nervous.
And now it's your turn.
Oh my God.
Try it out.
Okay. So flip it. Do you push it a lot?
Just, you kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay? So so the more that you do it, the more it sticks to itself.
Yes, because it'll start sticking to itself.
Yeah. That, okay. That makes sense. Cool.
There we go.
Awesome. Nailed it. I'm a professional chef now.
Working on it. We're working on it. We're gonna get you there. And then one more.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, kind of going back to your question, I actually started, so again, the daughter of one of my clients, Jamie from the Floral Frontier, needed help for her sister's wedding, and I helped her for that, and honestly, just, fell in love with it then, and then I did the flowers for my husband's and my wedding, and after that, actually, I got a lot of encouragement from people. And I think that encouragement really pushed me to be able to pursue it as a business. And it literally just exploded from there. I'm very happy and very proud.
That's awesome. I'm very proud of you, too.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go and take this over here. We're going to fry it up, and we will be right back. Okay, so here we are. We're just gonna pop them right in here.
Okay.
I have the pan at like a medium low. It doesn't have to be super, super hot. While these are frying, I also have this on broil. It's on a low broil. You can either do that or you can use bake. But what we'll do after this is we'll stuff them and then we'll pop them in the oven. Okay. So here we have our beef chorizo. You can also use pork or whatever your meat is, and we have some cheese.
Okay.
You can use your favorite cheese. I'm using asadero.
Asadero.
That's a traditional cheese to use.
Okay.
We're gonna lift this. We're gonna put some meat on it.
And I love that this is a meal that you can make it, vegan. You can make it vegetarian. You can make it with meat. It has so many different just ways that you can prepare it. I love it.
So now, you give it a whirl. I'll let you come where I am.
Okay.
And you can...
What would you say is your favorite way to prepare it? Do you like the chorizo version the best, or does it not really matter?
I really like steak with it, or chicken.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ground beef is pretty traditional.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, mix it up a little, give it a little spice. So we did chorizo today.
I like that.
Okay, so while those are in the oven, melting and getting all delicious, we're gonna do the sauce that's gonna go on top of it. Okay? So we'll do that. And I don't know if you guys knew, but Wendy is actually my older sister.
Since day one, baby.
Yes. We were born in Mexico, and we moved here about 12 years ago. So we've been on quite the journey, and I'm really glad that you're here with me today. I'm glad we were able to finally do it.
Glad to be here.
So for the sauce that we're going to put on top, traditionally you can use a red sauce. There's also green sauce, tomatillo sauce, and then there's also mole that you can put on top.
Nice.
This is actually something that I think I came up with, but maybe I didn't. It might be a thing. I just decided to do it one day because it just sounded good. So we're doing a chipotle cream sauce for the top.
Sounds delicious.
It's so good. So we're gonna use these tomatoes that I have already charred. You char it with a little bit of oil in a pan until you get about this consistency. Okay. And then, so it's 2 tomatoes, quarter of an onion. Or about half an onion. You can use red, white, whatever. And then we're gonna use some garlic. So we have 2 cloves of garlic.
Nice. And then do you also fry these too, or?
Yes. Everything here is fried, as you can see. So, yep. And then we're gonna get the cream cheese. If you want to put that in there, you can use that little spatula.
Perfect.
That's about 5 ounces of cream cheese.
Perfect.
And then we're going to get the chipotle peppers.
And I just put that in there?
So we're only going, because this is mostly to give it flavor, we're not going to use too much chipotle. We're just going to do a little bit of that and then put a little bit of that sauce. So about 2 chipotle peppers and then some of the sauce you can put in there.
Okay. Perfect.
That's good. Because this already has so much flavor, we really don't use a lot of seasoning for it. I'm gonna use about maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then a little bit of salt, not much, just a little bit, because it already, trust me, has a lot of flavor. And then we're gonna use a little bit of milk. You can use half and half. You can use heavy milk. I'm using condensed milk.
Awesome.
Just to give it a little.
This also
and
sounds...
that's about a quarter of a cup.
Quarter
Not
of a cup.
even, yeah, maybe even 3 tablespoons of a cup.
Okay.
Something like that.
I was gonna say, this sounds like an amazing dish actually for anybody that has like actually issues where they can't have a lot of salt in their diet. This actually is a really good one for that.
It is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna emulsify it here. And one thing about this sauce is that you want to make sure that you get it really good and creamy. So you'll want to mix for a while. If you have a licuadora.
A blender. I always get that
I
one.
don't know why
I always do that with my husband Kevin. I always tell him, I'm like, what's that? Tuku, 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 tuku. For today, I just happened to know that it was a blender, but I was just like, I feel very proud of myself right now that I knew it was a blender because licuadora is like set in my mind.
This makes quite a bit of sauce, but it is a good thing that you can have for a while. You can put more on it, less on it. You can also add it to other dishes.
Yeah.
So it's very, very good. You can also cut it in half and make less if you want to do that.
Would you ever use this as like a dip for chips?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Just don't add the milk.
Okay.
Did that get you?
It got me.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So then no milk.
So now that it's nice and creamy, we are going to take it to the stove, but we are going to do that in a little bit because you don't really want to heat this up too much. Otherwise, it'll break apart the cream.
Okay.
So we're just going to put some of it in here that we're going to warm up for our chile rellenos. And we're going to set this to the side. And then we're gonna work on my famous salsa that has everybody crying.
Man, Anna, can I just say,
I've been waiting to do this spicy dish, so this is it.
for those of us who grew up in Mexican households, you know what it's like when that chili is cooking and it's literally like tear gas in the house.
Yes,
like
it
you're
really
just
is.
coughing, can't breathe, but you know what? It's worth it because the food is so good.
We're gonna make it. All right, guys, so I am gonna grab some things we need for the salsa, and now we will be right back. Okay, so as you can see, they are all nice and melted. We went ahead and heated up the sauce for a little bit. And now we're gonna get to the toppings, which is gonna be the salsa, and then we'll finish it all up.
Nice.
So for the salsa, I'm gonna have you cut them up into smaller pieces just to kind of give this little blender a little break.
And what kind of chilies are these?
So we're gonna use jalapeno, serrano, and then chile de árbol, which is chili of tree.
Yeah. It's a little red one usually.
And if you want, you can use this so your fingers don't end up super spiced up.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes, because then otherwise they'll hurt.
True. Don't touch your eyes, people.
Yes, don't touch your eyes after this. So we have 3 jalapenos. We have 4 chile serranos, and I have 3 chile de árbol.
Okay.
The chile de árbol and the serranos are gonna be the most heat it's gonna give it. The jalapenos kind of give it a good flavor. We're gonna use some cilantro. I would say, I usually kind of just eye it, but about a bundle like that. Leave the stems. The stems give it flavor, so you don't have to cut that off.
I have a question. If somebody were to not want it to be super spicy, would you just omit certain chilies, or would you still add them but just not as much?
Just add 1 chile de árbol and then actually add more tomato. So I am only using 1 tomato.
Okay.
If you want it to be less spicy, add 2 or 3 tomatoes because that'll calm the spice down.
Okay.
And yes, less chiles. So instead of putting as much chiles, you kind of replace it with tomato instead, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice.
So yes. It's okay.
So Misty, what do you think got you really interested in cooking? Do you think it was like from when we were little, or is that something that you developed once you were like a teenager or like young adult?
So, I would say since I was little, I always liked to cook. I was always the one to be like, all right, are we doing dinner? What can I do? What can I do? I don't know. I love it. And I thought about going into culinary school for a while, but you know, life just kind of led me a different way.
Yeah.
Honestly though, yeah, you can pour that in here. It has, ever since doing the show, I always thought, you know, being a cooking show host sounds like great.
Yeah.
I grew up with Chopped, and so I love that show. So this was just a great opportunity when it was presented to me, and I've been enjoying it a lot.
Nice, that's awesome.
But tell us, now that you started your company and it's been going super well, what do you think your next steps are? What do you foresee in the future? What are you gonna do?
Honestly, I think that a goal of mine would be to be able to have my own space. I think that that would be something that I would really enjoy having. So yeah, that would be something that I am looking forward to for the future as I keep growing.
Will you add a little bit of water?
A little bit of water. I got you.
So you can kind of see the process here. I like my salsa a little chunky, so I don't blend it all the way. However, a little bit less. There you go.
Oh,
that's good.
Sorry.
However, if you want to, you definitely can. If you like it more saucy. So if I was doing it in the blender, I would just do like small little pulses. Try not to get this everywhere. Okay. So this is kind of the end result here. It's a little chunky.
Delicious.
You can also, if we're gonna store it, I recommend that you heat it up and let the salsa boil, because then it'll actually last you longer. This salsa would maybe last 2 to 3 days in the fridge. If you don't do that, if you do, it could last up to a week. Wow. So that's a good tip. Once you're done, put it back in the
refrigerator?
Stove.
Oh, stove.
In the stove.
Oh, okay.
Make it boil and then turn it off, let it cool off, and then put it in the fridge.
Gotcha.
So, now that we have this, I'm gonna have you slice up our last little topping there. We have some avocado.
Perfect.
I love to top my chile rellenos with avocado. It's my favorite. And we saved a little bit of cilantro for the garnish as well, because we have to make it look pretty, of course.
Yeah, of course. That's the chef life.
Of course.
Nice.
So,
awesome.
Now we're gonna start plating.
Man, that looks so good.
It does. You can put it on the side if you want. All right.
I'm gonna put that over here.
Yes, perfect.
Awesome.
And then now we're gonna top it with some of that sauce.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that works too. We can do that.
Awesome. And then this is just al gusto, like how much you want?
Yeah, I usually cover it. I like to drench mine. But
okay.
Yes, put as much or as little as
Honestly,
you want.
I tasted it earlier and it's delicious. So
Yes.
I'm gonna put a ton on it.
Go ahead. If you guys try this at home, please let me know what kind of meat you use, if you change anything, what your thoughts were. I always love to hear feedback, so let me know what you think. A lot of people will also top this with more cheese and melt it all again, but we have enough cheese on it, I think. So now we're gonna go with the salsa. You can put as much or as little. Be careful, it does spice up. So
and then I feel like also another thing with salsas is that every chili can be a little different. Sometimes you'll get chilies that like aren't spicy at all, and sometimes it's like a lot. So always taste test it.
Yes.
Our dad literally never taste test it. He just goes and then he'll just be crying and like, and we're like, well, come on, man, taste it.
He's only been married to a Latina for years. I don't know what the problem is there. Okay, so now we got our little garnishes, and
so
this
cute.
is what it looks like. Are you ready for a taste test?
I am so ready. This looks delicious, Misty.
For you.
Thank you. Cheers to our first meals with
Salud.
Misty. Salud. I'm excited for this.
Let's see.
I don't know. I can't remember if I've ever had one with chorizo before.
It's a little different. That's why I wanted to do it.
like
Because
it,
everybody knows ground beef or chicken.
Yeah.
Yum.
That is amazing.
I'm gonna pat my own back. So good.
Wow, you guys definitely need to try this out. I am sending this to all of my clients.
Yay, good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let people know where they can find you.
So you can find me, my floral business. You can find me on Instagram. I have a website as well, and it's called Tlali Florals, or Tlali. You spell it out Tlali. Sorry, I have like food in my mouth.
It's okay.
But
I put you on the spot.
Tlali, no, it's okay. So you can find me on Instagram and on my website at Tlali Florals for all things weddings, birthdays, baby showers. I would love to be able to create magic with flowers for you. And then for personal training, Wendy Farr Fitness, I have a Facebook page. I don't have a website, but I do have a Facebook page. So you can definitely reach out to me, or you can also email me at wendyfarfitness@gmail.com.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you go and
this was great.
try this with Kevin and see what he thinks.
Oh, he's gonna love it.
Good. And we will see you next time here at Meals with Misty with Televida.
Bye, guys.